Hello friends, those back pages here. I hope you're well. As you can probably tell by the title of tonight's episode, we'll be talking about slabs. I understand some people are not interested, so this video is probably not going to be for you. But I'm going to give one man's take on what could possibly happen behind the curtain. Now you see, the thing is, for decades people have been saying, oh, PSA should tell us how they do it. They should absolutely give us all the graders' qualifications and all of that stuff. And obviously, you know, PSA is now 32 years old and they haven't spilled the beans in that regard yet, and I don't think it's going to happen. Pretty sure that anyone that works there would have to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, because I'm sure they've rotated, you know, many graders in and out of the system, and we still haven't heard anything. Because I think it would be pretty big news if, you know, somebody were to give the inner workings of PSA, because we saw one of the startup companies during the pandemic, HGA, which not a real grading company. They gave us a little behind the scenes tour and they kind of exposed themselves. Take that for what you will. I'm showing off all four of the companies there, the legitimate companies, even though with each passing day, BGS is less and less relevant outside of the super high-end NBA thick stock cards, exquisites, and the like. For some reason, people still use BGS for that. I stopped being a fan of theirs for a while now. I have pretty much removed them from my searches. Has that cost me cards? Probably. But I just do not, you know, I'm so really try to avoid the baggy whenever possible on any of the companies. And I've seen a couple of videos where SGC has had a couple of baggies inside mini cards. But die cuts and such, they don't believe they do. Now, basically, this is what I think happens when you send the card to PSA. And again, this is my take, it's my opinion. I don't have any proof. I don't have the receipts, as the kids like to say. But let's say you send in a card. I got a couple of these in the mail. This is from the 1985 O-Pee-Chee. Going for the pin, technically Tito Santana. And it is believed that is Mick Foley that he's pinning, who was a jobber at the time, so it's possible. I believe he started there in 83, so this picture is probably taken in 84. But there's a really clean copy of the O-Pee-Chee parallel. Sorry, O-Pee-Chee version, not a parallel of the Topps card. So I think this is kind of, spoiler alert, I think this is a little under the radar for what it is and how many cards, especially wrestling cards, have exploded. But anyway, so you send this in and you say, PSA, grade this for me. Pay the money. So it goes through the system, whoever, you know, catalogs this person. Eric sent this in, cataloged, you know, they're not supposed to, you know, it's supposed to get a number, they're not supposed to, by the time it gets to the graders table, they're not supposed to know whose card it is. They say that you should not send in your cards in top loaders or one touches or any of those. They recommend you use these card savers, or BCW makes them, Beckett makes them. The PSA has their own brand, I think, but they say to not send it in the top loader. I got this in, and I think this is a great. I'm not one for draft cards, but with Trevor Lawrence and the Crimson colors, it just matches. I mean, it's a beautiful shine. Atomic, well, technically ice is the Panini version of Atomic, but this was $5. I mean, come on, $5. This was, I think, $4. But anyway, so I think what happens is they process it. You know, it gets to the grader. He has to take it out of the excuse me, out of the card saver. So I think they cut it. If I'm being honest, I think they cut it open, you know, on the side, and then they easily remove your card. But they get your card out somehow. And you know, how long do you think they look over a card? You know, I want to say 10 seconds. You know, you can see the surface. You know, that corner's a little messed up right there. This stuff's not going to translate on the video, but I think they look at this. Some say they don't even look at the back, because I don't know how true that is. But, you know, they look it over. They've got their bright lights, their loops, and whatever. And obviously, you know, every card should be graded the same, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? That's not real life. You know, this card's a couple $. I can't imagine them spending more than 10 seconds. And I think personally, again, this is all me, I think they use something like, I think this is CS4. I don't think they're going to jam your card back in here once it's, you know, they might have, stacks of, all right, this card's going to be this grade, this kind of, but, you know, I think they do something like they'll put it in here. After assigning your grade, it's nice in here, it's safe in here. And then they'll, you know, I'm going to grade this one, I'm going to go with an 8 on this. And they write 8 on there. And it goes into a pile. And then they go on to your next card. And they go on to your next card. And they finish the pile. And then it, you know, however the paperwork and everything is all put together. And it goes to the next process. You know, again, I don't know the assembly line. I don't think, you know, I don't, especially now with the backlog seemingly clearing up, I don't think there's this, you know, basically I don't think that the holdup, the quote-unquote holdup is the grading aspect. I think it's everything else. It's the prepping, it's the, you know, going to the sealer is a new term. Recently, you know, when I was bitching and moaning about the baggies inside of the PSA holders, you know, the CEO of the company told me that you know, using the baggie is up to the sealer. So whoever is physically sealing your slab. Again, I don't, you know, I have not that I have an issue with it, but you know, one of the aspects I really like about slabs is the presentation. Oh, just use a magnetic. All right, fine, you could do that. And then there's even people that put their cards inside a sleeve inside the magnetic, or even just they'll fold up a penny sleeve and put it in. It's like, that's just, you know, it's bad enough that, you know, it's bad enough when, you know, we get a slab in and it comes, you know, this is actually in a superior fit sleeve, so I'll just leave it for being lazy's sake. But if, I mean, most of the slabs I get in, you know, most of the slabs I get in come with the crappy team bag, and I just throw those away anyway, because it just takes away from the visual presentation when you're physically looking at the card. And again, this is a great You know, this is a great, they've used this scope many times. You know, and this was an 8, so it was the price of a blaster, because 8 is a crappy grade. You know, we're at a point now where 9 is almost a crappy grade. And this, I just, you know, some call this teal, it's green, but it does look really nice with the Jaguars colors. And it's the velocity, so it's got the, you know, the optic that you've come to know and love. I got in this Gretzky 97 Elite. You know, it's a 6. It's graded accurately. This corner is dinged in. This corner is dinged in. These are numbered to 2500 on the back, in a nice foily. But see, again, you know, why I prefer PSA is that, you know, you've got BGS, which, you know, they're trying to move away now from the subgrades, but they still have subgrades. Well, this is an old slab, but in subgrades. And when I didn't bring one out, but when CSG started, they had a green flip that everybody hated, and they had subgrades. They have an option of subgrades or no subgrades. They charge you more for subgrades, blah blah blah. You know, this is just so that, you know, there was that. SGC, you know, prior to this black and white flip, they had a green flip, you know, with an odd numbering system. They had, you know, 100, 98, 96, 92, 86, 82. Again, it's too, you know, it's too much overanalyzing about our cards. You know, it's too micromanaging. It's, oh, well, you know, this, you know, BGS, and, you know, it's got, you know, edges are a 10 and the other 3 categories are 9.5. So, you know, if 2 of these subgrades were 10, if 2 of them were 10, it would be one more away from a pristine, where a pristine is 3 10s and a 9.5. Or it would be, you know, 4 10s is a black label pristine. So they're making this black flip black with gold numbers, letters, because it's pristine. You know, it's actually, you know, 3 10s and a 9.5 is still gem mint, but you need 4 10s to get the pristine. I spoke wrong on that, but the point being, and even, you know, SGC has, you know, they have a 10, they have a, you know, 8.5, 9, 9.5, 10. 10 being gem mint, but then 10 where they make this outer color gold for I don't know what it's called anymore, but to distinguish between a regular gem mint and a pristine. Like 10 is gem mint, and then 10 with gold around here is pristine. And even SGC, this is a gem mint, and they have a pristine 10, where I think this is gold instead of black. They just inverse, kind of like what BGS does. Like, I think just, but not the letters, just the surrounding is gold. So it's pristine. It's a 10, but it's pristine. I hate to break it to you, there are no cards that are pristine. You show me a card, I'll find the problem with it. I could have dug that out ages ago. I had it in one of the videos that I bought a Ronaldo refractor from 1819 Topps Chrome in a SGC 100 pristine, and you could see Edgeware right on the card. And that was in that card was like 20 or 30 bucks. It wasn't a big deal. So you've got PSA. 1 to 9, and then 1.5 to 2.5 grades up until 9, and then 10. So you'll hear discussions. Oh, that's a weak 10. It shouldn't. It would, BGS would give it a 9. This and that and the other. This is a 6 because it has Edgeware. But you look at it, on the camera, it looks fine. These are 30. Man, it's scary to think that these are 30 years old now, but they're numbered to 10,000, which sounds like a lot, but back then it wasn't. So, that's why I prefer PSA. In my opinion, CSG has the best plastic, and PSA is the best company. They all have issues. I don't need to hear that. Oh, this trim, that trim. They all have that problem. Literally all of them have that problem, or their own problems. But for me, a PSA 9. The price difference between a PSA 9 and a PSA 10 can be 5-fold or more or greater than 5-fold in price. So if a PSA 10, just using easy numbers, if a PSA 10 is $100, you could probably get a 9 for 20 if you really tried, if you really put in the work. And I know everyone, bags on Mac Jones, and probably rightfully so, but this is a very rare, difficult card. It's hobby only. It's the parallel, and it was, less than 2 blasters, so I added it. It's a 9. This was a 10, I wouldn't own it. Same goes for this. Really big fan of the optic. I could talk about that at another time. But the price difference between the 9 and the 10 is crazy. Mosaic, which actually has etching. I noticed that. The background is crap, but it has etching. Another thing, what really got me buying these Lawrence cards that are not gem mint is the price point. I just wanted to pick up the rookie, the Prism rookie, because I collect Prism rookies across the sports. Rookie cards, let me verify. And I was trying to buy just the raw, like I did my homework, and a raw version of this was like $15. And then shipping and tax. I won this one for $10 at auction. I was the only bidder. It's only an 8, but it was $10, and I can't even buy a raw copy for that. Now, the person that sent this in, I guarantee they didn't send it in thinking, oh, this is got an 8. The centering is pretty good for this issue. And I think what a lot of people need to remember with this 2020 and later, the quality control is absolutely crap on these cards. Right out of the pack, it's crap. They're pumping the presses 24/7. So I was able to add that Lawrence, and then I was searching more Lawrence, and this popped up. This is a CSG 8, so I guess it might as well just be garbage, because I always tell you guys, if there's an offer available, send the offer. So I sent an offer of $7. I woke up the next day and it was accepted. You can't even buy a raw copy for that. and you get a beautiful copy. You get a copy of this in a beautiful slab. You know, we don't even have to get into the color change of BGS because I'm pretty sure now they've rectified that. After us telling them this for a decade, they should fix it. They finally listened, but I think it's probably too late for them. You know, I think it's black label 10, 9.5 is gold, and then 9 and below is silver. Pretty sure. I think even their authentics are silver now, but again, I haven't been paying much attention. Let's see, I picked these up from 2020 Topps Heritage, you know, covering the 71 Topps set. Just amazing shine on these. In the 9, they're numbered to 573 on the back, right there. Seller had these listed together. Don't know why, but I wasn't complaining because they're both a 9. And I got both of these for the price of 2 blasters. Because they're 9s. They're not 10s. So they're, you know, they're junk. They're not 10s, they're junk. Supposedly. Allegedly. Not to me. But, and I added one more card. Oh, that's a major reflection there. This 2019 Topps Chrome, Ronald Acuna, kneeling, hitting a home run. This is the SP variation, photo variation from 19 Topps Chrome. It's not numbered or anything. It's not particularly rare, but it is overvalued by their sellers unless they finally sent the 9 to auction that I saw anyway. It's not something I always hunt out, but again, 25% the price of a, maybe 33% is a little bit more, but the price of a 10, which I was never going to pony up for. So, you know, do your homework, decide what you want to do, decide how you want to collect. You know, I'm always an advocate of stretching your hobby dollars as far as possible. I always have been. And that means PSA non-gems of all companies, non-gems. But, you know, and another thing, oh, well, you know, they're easy graders or they're difficult graders and blah, blah, blah. You know, any given day, this could have been a 10. I mean, the centering's not terrible. I think the centering on the Ronnie's not, it's actually not bad. So any given day, this could have been a 10. But they gave it a 9. It could be something minute on the back. I don't care. The price difference is just astronomical. And you're only gonna, you're not only, but with the other companies, you know, you've got Gem Mint and you've got, you know, they have a 9.5, but it's Mint Plus. SGC has a 9.5, but it's Mint Plus. So there's that extra step between Gem Mint 10 and Mint 9 called Mint Plus, which is kind of Faust. But you've got, with PSA, you've got one or the other. And like I said, on any given day, it could be a 9, it could be a 10. But the price difference is phenomenal. They cry, we buy.